Back in 2015, I released a 33 card divination deck based on the Chinese oracle bone scripts from the Shang and Zhou dynasties. And if you're interested in this, please check the video description box for the links to download version 2, because since 2015 I've revised and edited the card images a little bit to improve it, and also I've edited and formatted the companion guidebook. Yes, it comes with a companion guidebook that explains how to work with these cards, how to use an oracle deck, and I swear it's beginner friendly. You can know absolutely nothing about cartomancy, tarot cards, oracle cards. You can be somebody who's not even that into spirituality and download or print out, produce your own 33 card divination deck. And because you get all of the high-res digital files and there's only 33 cards, if you make a Saturday morning project out of this, art project out of this, you could print and produce your own set pretty much for free. If you want to use a print-on-demand third-party site that prints sets of decks for you, you can do that as well. Everything is granted under a Creative Commons license, so please feel free to mix and match, be as creative as you can, and produce your own set of cards to use for your own divination purposes. Not only can it work for divination for anybody, like I said, you don't even have to read the guidebook. If you want to read the guidebook to get the background, the gist, also the etymological roots of every single one of these characters, then that's what the guidebook is for. But you don't need to. You can just get the set of cards and basically ask a question and pick a card. What I love so much about this small little set is that even though it's user-friendly for any beginner, even somebody who's not that into spirituality at all, it's by itself a complete set for sigil crafting or creating food talismans in the Taoist traditions. It's based on the oracle bone scripts. That's sort of my personal style of crafting food talismans. Not to sort of get too off track, I do want to talk about the deck. But food talismans, there's many different styles and traditions and lineages and techniques to it. My personal artistic style and my craft does work heavily with oracle bone script, so you're going to see that. And I do believe this set of 33 glyphs and some of the instructions I provide in the companion guidebook is more than enough to get one started in crafting food talismans, especially if you don't know how to write Chinese. So I do hope you'll consider looking into it, studying and exploring it to see if it's something that resonates with you. And and since it's a system I designed, I absolutely encourage people to pick it apart and just take little bits and pieces to integrate with their current practice and not have to sort of buy in the whole thing hook, line, and sinker. You can't misappropriate this. I don't think you can, at least. I encourage people to pick it apart, refurbish, and change it around so that it does work for you. That's why, like I said, if you look at all of the little offerings I have, you should be able to read the subtext and see my perspective and my philosophy. I give you so many different card back designs, and I even tell you to redesign, edit, and customize the card back designs, use some of them as is, or completely scrap it all and use your own. Change up the card faces as well. So the version 2 does have sort of the seal on every single one. If you're really high tech, you'll know how to remove it. If you don't know how to remove it and you sort of want to work from the basics, go back to version 1. Version 1 does not have any sort of tiling in the back. It just has, it's blank white, and it just has these the glyphs and the information. So work from those to really add and tailor it to yourself if you don't like the seal in the background. Although I do ask, because it's under a Creative Commons non-commercial attribution license, I do ask that nobody commercialize their derivatives of whatever they create based on the files and the version that I provide to you. But in terms of what you can do and what you can share that's non-commercial, and especially if it's part of your personal spirituality, especially if you're if you want to work with it to explore and seek out what path would be your own, please feel 100% free, 300%. I know that doesn't exist, but you know what I mean when I say 300%. I love to talk in hyperbole, but really feel free to change it up and not feel like anything you do with these cards could offend me. Nothing you do with these cards could offend me. And even if it does, I'll cry in my own corner. I'm not going to bother you about it. I'll just like, I'll cry by myself. I won't bother you even if you do offend me. So I do want you to work with it in your own way. Do I even ask that people are respectful? No, I don't. I don't ask that people are respectful. I would not approach this particular deck in any way except for a reverent, respectful way. But that's just me, and that's because of my really specific connection to the concept of divinity that comes through in the cards. My path is so specific to me, and that's why I personally would approach it with deep reverence. But I don't expect other people to. I don't think that would be fair at all. So I do want you to work with these in a way that feels right for you. Like I said, take it apart. I'm repeating myself now, but I do want to make it very clear to people because people do ask me all of the time, can I do this? Can I do that? And so kind of almost in a selfish way to fend off all those questions so you don't bother me is to tell you right off the bat, yes, just as long as it's non-commercial. If it's not commercial and you're not selling it, you're not trying to turn a profit from whatever you've created, do whatever you want. Can you misappropriate the cultural aspects of this deck? No. You can't say that for every single culture. For Taoism specifically, Taoism is by its fundamental nature eclectic and syncretic. And all that means is that the fundamental nature of the craft encourages people to syncretize, mix and match different cultures, different traditions, different iconography, and different deities. Even the so-called Taoist pantheon is like a mishmash of deities from other more long-established religious traditions. So you cannot possibly misappropriate. So please figure out how these work for you and give it a try. And let me know in the comments section how you connect or don't connect with the cards and what you've done to them to make it your own. I'd love to hear it because I'm interested.